Welcome back, guys. It's your favorite fun-loving podcast here, The Nerds Around. I'm your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
And today we have the awesome, the one, the only, Drew. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here with you guys.
So, Drew, for those who don't know you, give them a background of who you are, what you do. Just give them the 411, bro.
The 411. My name is Drew Kaboom. I grew up in Queens. Been emceeing most of my life. Just finished a music degree, so I love asserting that and like putting my staple on it and letting people know that I'm super serious about reaching many different demographics and whole bunch of things. I stick to a lot of mysticism and metaphysics in my work, a lot of nerdcore scenarios, that sort of thing, and really just bring a different type of consciousness into hip hop. That's always been there, but I do it in my own different way. I really fell in love with hip hop when I actually saw that movie Brown Sugar. In the very beginning of Brown Sugar, Sanaa Lathan asks like multiple MCs, just like for takes in the video, when did you fall in love with hip hop? And like, I guess I internalized that, and then it produced something, a different kind of love where I was able to, harness my creativity and present it a little bit stronger. So that's when I really can narrow it down exactly to the point when I fell in love with it. As far as what kept me going is that I just love to write, and it just became a pastime. Every time I would jump in my car, I'd listen to just beats constantly. I always had friends that made beats, but none of the friends that made beats rhymed on their own beats, so they always hear from me.
The struggle.
Yeah. So, what was some of your inspiration? Because you also mentioned nerdcore. I remember hearing lyrics that involved Ben Grimm and Akuma. So please tell us what got you into nerd culture and what made you want to include that in your lyrics.
Street Fighter.
There you go.
Street Fighter, Star Wars, the list goes on. I mean, like most animes. When I found out, or when I like kind of assessed that like anime was like just actually teaching people about the old world and like metaphysics, like just under the radar, I thought that's super dope. Even superhero stuff is all metaphysics and teachings from the old world, so I definitely resonate with that. But what got me into it was definitely Street Fighter.
I know. So talking about references, so when I was listening to The Lost Moon of Jupiter, one of the things that got me is like I'm listening to you go off, and just there are like certain terms and things that are coming out. I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard about this, and like ancient name droppings that I'm noticing, and I thought like I've never heard that before. So where did that interest of going back like super into time, super ancient history, where was that influence from? What piqued that interest? And like, kind of turning some kind of nerd culture in regards to old history, because that I loved all that stuff. I thought it was very cool.
Well, like as far as the references on Lost Moon of Jupiter, when I wrote the first verse of Lost Moon of Jupiter. So after that little intro, the verse kicks in, the beat comes in, and I'm remembering things as I'm writing it, but I didn't even write it as a rap. I wrote it as a poem where I say, oh, this is the lost moon of Jupiter. Juniper berries ran long as ambrosia vine. So that first part of the record is actually a tribute to like one of my good friends. His name is Harry. He wrote a book called Ambrosia, and he wrote like this phenomenal poem book. And I was like, I've never really written a poem book, but I think I should give my boy pay my boy homage, because like it's incredible. If you ever read this thing, his name is Harry Palacio, and he wrote Ambrosia, and so that segued all of like what he said basically into the poem. But then and then when I heard the beat from this producer Gums, I had to just transition that poem into a record. And the references come from thinking about my time in India with my girlfriend Sarah, and we were in Rishikesh, and thinking about different things and how they all correlated with today, but just try to make it, really, really soft, really, really smooth. Nothing too confrontational, nothing too overwhelming for people to listen to.
So when you're sitting down writing, do you feel like you're transported in another world, or what's that
Absolutely.
process for you?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm still here and now, when I'm listening, but then when I find the cadence of the track and it opens me up, I end up just breathing into it, and then when I breathe into it, it just expresses itself. I can't like force it. So I think when I do it, it's just more like a focus thing. That as soon as I focus on how the beat's hitting, how the instruments sound, then it just takes me. And like I usually just write with the first verse, and then from the first verse, I just elaborate.
Do you like writing before listening to the beat at all?
No, no, no. So I don't do that anymore. I used to just write and then put it to the beat, but I feel that process took longer. So when I'm in the beat, when I'm in the thick of it, I just let it flow through me, and I just write.
What are your dream collaborations?
My dream collabs. I have three in particular. I have
That's
J
a
Elect,
perfect number.
J Electronica, definitely.
Okay.
Doom also, because I wear a mask, but I'm not really rapping in the mask. A lot of people think I'm rapping in the mask, but that's not the case. You'll see that soon. So it's J Electronica, M Doom or MF Doom, and Most Def Yasin Bey. That's it. If I can get Bey on a record, that would be like the most amazing thing for me.
I am
Yeah.
such a fan of lyrics that like I will stop, play it back, and just listen to the same track over and over and over because I know there's stuff that like it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, no, that's what. So before we started recording, that's why I had said I was really happy that you put your lyrics for "Lost Moon of Jupiter," because I just like before recording, I kind of just ran through all your lyrics and was just like picking references and stuff. I think I counted like, let me see what I got. I counted like 19 references that were just out there just to. And I was just, like you're name dropping Yggdrasil, the World Tree. You're,
absolutely.
You're dropping the pyramids of Giza matching to Orion's belt and all this other stuff. Just like I'm like, I'm just like, damn, like
even the Game of Thrones. I love the Game of
oh,
Thrones.
was it Game of Thrones? The new gods and the old. So when I heard you say that, and I'm reading it, in the old gods and the new, I was like, Game of Thrones. I was like, I put like GOT question mark maybe, like because like there's no other reference in literature that I've read that like use that specific phrasing of words so much aside from GOT. I saw some ancient Sumerian some stuff.
Definitely.
The Nigerian spirits. I thought that was like there's just a lot of really cool stuff that you have in your lyrics.
But the American God Show also. I don't know if you guys ever seen that.
Love that
that's
show.
like that was like a strategic show for them, and like a lot of people got it, a lot of people didn't. But I put that reference in there also, that swear by the old gods and the new, because it's true. When you find your calling, no matter who you are, you can say that you're basically in your deified state because you're focused and honed in on what you love to do. So really, we become new gods just based on our frequency and vibration. So even the Game of Thrones reference, it makes so much sense. Like I swear by the old gods and the new. Like we became living proof of what we love to do. That's really what it boils down to.
Let me ask you, Drew. I mean, you remember the rock and hip hop connection, right? When people like Onyx, for example, they did the song Judgment Night and everything. If
absolutely.
we're able to do a crossover genre, like what specific genre would you want to do a crossover like on an album?
EDM.
EDM.
Okay. No doubt about it.
He didn't even have to ask that. That was just like
there was zero hesitation. He knew it.
Nah, because as a producer myself, like I produce, like it's so weird because I can sit down and I could write a boom bap record, or I could write a trap record, but like if it came down to like making an EDM song, definitely. but like I swear when I sit down and produce, it always comes out sounding like an EDM record. Like always. Like I have an EP dropping on the 3rd, pre-sales actually at midnight for my EP called Woo. 5 tracks. I think they're all powerful. A lot. I think they're just because the Lost Moon of Jupiter is the intro, and then it just goes from there. Like so, damn dude. I'm so ecstatic I can barely even like contain the actual like description in my head. It's just like it's not it's not even
How long was
anymore.
that process from like
Yeah.
inception to like creation?
So Lost Moon of Jupiter I had out June last year, and well, actually November I commercially released it, but I put a freestyle version of it in June 2019, and I actually named the album I was going to make referencing that record called Alpha Beta, but I changed it to Woo. Like I gotta say in like November 2019, and so basically about almost a good 6 months it's been, and then we had it fully mixed, mastered. The arrangements, we took time with it, making sure that like every sonic was like, you know, every lyric was on point, every sonic was hit, like every drop was created with like a listener's intent in mind, like just a whole bunch of different dynamics that like I knew about, but I really didn't take the time to do it before. But I guess with my knowledge that I've acquired, it ends up being pretty listenable. I'm very
So,
excited.
what would be your top 3 iconic video game songs to do a rap over or to build off of?
Damn. I mean, I would say that